Welcome back to our original Xbox restoration video. So in this video we're going to be cleaning up the board, we're going to be prototyping, and we're going to be test fitting in our prototype case that was created. A few things that I have gathered. For the hard drive itself, I'm planning on using SATA, so I got this IED to SATA connector, and it also have its own power, and this will be fitting right on the board like so. In the case itself, I will be 3D printing a frame that goes over this, similar to how the Xbox 360 internals are, and we'll have the SSD mounted. We'll also have a section cut out for our heatsink. So the original heatsink that came with it, which was this one, I'm not going to be using this. What I'm going to be doing is getting a different heatsink, ones that have a lower profile. This is just a 3D printed model. The heatsink that I'll be using will be 120 by 69 dimension. It will fit over both chips, and I will create a 3D printed brace to hold it in. The fins itself will be a lot higher. I just didn't want to print the entire fin process, so I think the fins will be roughly around 25 to 30 millimeters in height. And with that being said, I may design a way to cool it, whether I may use 2 small fans or 1 big one, I've yet to decide. For the power delivery, there are different ones I've found out there. I'll put a few on the screen where I know that should work, but I'm going to do my research and so forth to make sure that based on what version of board this is, the pins of the correct power going to it, so I can further decide on which one that I want to use. So the next step for this board is to clean it up. It's full of dust and everything. I'm going to clean up the old thermal paste, and I will be removing this capacitor right here, which is the clock capacitor. So removing that, clean up the board some more, and any residue that's on it will be cleaned up. After that, we'll test fit in our new case and to make sure that everything lines up the way I want it to, and then we'll proceed from there. So right now we're gonna go over to our station, and I'm gonna remove the capacitor, and we're gonna clean up this board, and we'll move from there. So let's go. Alright, so now we're at our station, and we're gonna start by removing the capacitor, which is gonna be this one right here. So we're not gonna try and wiggle it out. We're gonna see on the back where it is, which this seems like what it is. Let's get a bit of focus on that. Alright, so yes, so we'll be trying to remove that. So let's do flux on that, and we'll make sure our finger is on it so we can give it a little pull. There we go. So we have one part out, and then we're gonna get this other part out. think that should be it for this. Alright, so we need to heat this up some more. Alright, so let's get our pliers need here and cut it out. Alright, let's get some alcohol on that to clean it off. Let's ensure that. Alright, so we get that cleaned up. So we need to clean up the rest of this board. Got it filled with dust and everything. Before we do that, let's get rid of this old thermal paste. This thermal paste is really old. Yeah, it's really stuck on there, but we'll take our time and clean it off. So I'm gonna let this soak a bit, and while that is in that, we are gonna use a brush to kind of clean off the dust. Alright. Yeah, this residue is caked on there. I wonder. Yeah. Yeah, so the thermal paste has been on this for so long until it's actually solidify. Let me try another method. Let me go in. I'm going to see if I can slowly remove this. Yeah, so this is dried up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to look in some easier method of removing these old thermal paste, because it's all rubbery, without damaging anything. That I'm gonna look into. Yeah, it's on there real good. Because I could scrape it off, but I don't want to really damage anything. So I'm going to look into some other chemical-based solution so I can remove that. So otherwise from that, I'm just going to clean up this section right here. That seems to be real dirty. I don't think the capacitor had broken to cause all of this. It seems fine when I looked at it, and the console was turning on and working just fine. Yeah, the board is a lot more cleaner than it was. still have a few dust itself, but this could be because the board is so old. I don't know if you can have a thing as dirt stain on the PCB, but as long as there's no dust bunnies, I think it's just fine. As long as there's no hard dust shorting out anything, I think that's fine as well. Okay, this seems okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna be test fitting this board in our new prototype case, and I'll show you a layout of what I'm going for and what may need to be redesigned. Alright, so we have our capacitor removed, and yeah, we're gonna jump over to the other part of the station, and we're gonna test fit our board. So yeah, the capacitor was fine, there's no leak, there's no anything, so we're good. Alright, so let's move over and do a test fit. Alright, so here we have our board, and first we're going to test fit the heatsink itself. That's how I want it to be mounted. Now let's jump to our case. So let's set this aside, and this is our new prototype case. So I did make it a little bit higher. I may have to readjust and make it a little bit more higher, depends on how everything fits in. This is the case itself. So there's more tolerance around the edges, which allow the board to easily slip in and fit with no issue, nothing rubbing around the edges. And all the holes are lined up properly. And for these holes, I'll be using a M3 screw. The heatsink will be right there, and there will be a 3D printed frame that goes on top of this. So there will be a cutout right at this section for the either one fan or two small fans. These two small fans will connect back into the fan header on the board itself, and we'll have our hard drive connection here that will come out and over. So there will be a frame that cover this top with cutout for the hard drive itself, the heatsink, and whatever power that I'm going to use. Whether I'm going to use one of those small one that plugs right in, depends on the power pin setup, or I'm going to have it mount across where the wires will run on the frame itself to the back. For this front section, that's the power and the controller plug-in. I'm thinking of using a USB solution. I've seen different solutions where you can have USB controllers plug in. I'm exploring that, but I will make a final decision at the end of the day how I'm gonna go about doing this. I'm going for a more clean build that is nice and thin. And for the top itself, the design that I came up with will be similar to the original case, where you have the vents there and you have the Xbox symbol on the front. Because this is a prototype lid, I didn't include any color, but it will have the Xbox color and everything. The case itself will be black, and you have the green and the white and whatever color scheme. For lights, I'm not sure if I'm going to let this light up as yet. I could. I think it will be a nice addition to let the logo lights up when you turn the console on. And this will be the size of the console. It's going to be nice and small. nice and compact. The power connector will be right here. Now the power connector, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna let it be one of those proprietary connector, or I can let it be USB-C and you get the required power adapter that delivers that amount of watt and voltage to supply the internal power supply that I'm going to be using. But this is the prototype of the case so far. And with the lid, the vents will be a little more thinner and discreet so that you don't see the green PCB when you look straight down through. Kind of similar to how the Xbox 360 side vents are. For doing the top, I'm thinking of using it could be a magnetic cover, so you won't have to screw it on anything, but I do have some strong magnets that I've used for other projects and they work fantastically, so I may allow this to be a magnetic cover. One, it allows ease of access to go into your console if you need to do anything. As to holding the board in itself, the frame that I created will actually keep this board in on anything that needs to be screwed down. Nothing will rely on the top itself to be kept down. So that will be our next step going forward. So for this heatsink 120 by 69, I'm going to order one in so I can actually get a proper fit in this section. As for this chip right here, even though the printed prototype heatsink covers it, the actual heatsink won't because of the cutout that the heatsink has. So if I go to the original heatsink and I bring it up here, you can see that based on this shape, and the other heatsink has the same shape, so this won't get caught when it goes on top. So when it goes like this chip won't get caught. So that concern is out of the box. Yeah, so far that's the progress. If you have any ideas to that I could venture on to make this project more exciting, do let me know in the comments down below. I'm open to suggestions, but so far with this project, this is where I am right now in changing out the heatsink, getting the power delivery. Then I'm going to figure out for the controller section of how I'm going to allow you to play a game, whether I'm going to do USB controller or whatever that's out there. As for the power itself, I'm going to use the original power button, which will be in the center. So I could actually do the power button in the center and control on the side. So being that the Xbox is originally 4-player, so it could be 2 USB over here, 2 USB over here, and have the power in the center. I may just do that. But yeah, so that's it for now regarding this project. Like, subscribe, leave any comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.